magnetism and your soul codes, going beyond the matrix, tapping into your psycho magic, and taking things to the 5D and beyond. Let's talk about tapping into your soul's codes first. Then we're going to dive into psycho magic and then taking your work to the 5D and beyond. And really this is around the magnetism piece, right? Because this is the magnetic healer series, the magnetism series. This is the final one. This is the final of the 4th. So I did one last week, Friday, and then I did one on Monday and then yesterday. So if you have not gone and watched those, take some time this weekend and go binge them. They're so good. There's so many nuggets in there. I've also put a couple of them on the podcast, The Untamed Healer, so you can go listen there if you prefer to listen versus watch. And yeah, and then we'll go from there. Sleepless night, crazy days. Oh, yeah. There's been some like crazy energy lately too, as far as like sleep wise. I don't know about you guys, but I have not been sleeping super well lately. I normally have 0 issues sleeping, but lately it's been real. So let me know if that's you guys too. Okay, so tapping into your soul's codes and the magnetism piece. I've talked about this in yesterday's live as well, so you can definitely go check that one out in the magnetism series. When it comes to your soul's codes, how do I want to say this? Reiki is kind of like one of those gateway into our spiritual gifts and abilities, right? It's like the spiritual awakening kit. You've got your crystals, you've got your journal, you've got some meditations with some headphones, you've got oracle or tarot cards, and you have an energy healing program of some sort. That is your spiritual awakening as a healer. There's your kit. And I love Reiki. Look, I've channeled my own style of Reiki. I have something really fucking cool coming up that I am going to be working on tonight, hopefully. And so keep your eyes peeled if you are on the wait list or you want to be on the wait list to learn quantum illumination Reiki. Like something's coming down the pipe around this and we're creating a whole ass party around it because this is going to be so much fun. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But when it comes to your soul's codes, this is unique to you. This is your soul's blueprints. This is what it is that your soul is literally here to do. And they're all a little bit different. And sometimes they don't even have a name. I had someone on TikTok say something. I'm going to actually respond to her in a video. But she said something along the lines of, I have this gift, and she explained what it was. What do you call that? And I'm like, well, what do you call that? What would you call that? Because that sounds pretty unique to me. I mean, we could call it like psychic or something else, but if it's very unique to you, then that is part of your soul's codes. And these come in various nuggets in your life that you probably don't even realize that it's happening. And as you continue to do your own healing work and you enlist the support of others to heal, because the coven was never meant to be alone. Hear me loud and clear when I say the coven was never meant to be alone. They fucking separated us in past lives. They turned us against each other. And we have been thinking that we are more powerful. I can do it by myself. I don't need nobody else. I've got this. I can do these healing abilities. So why would I need to hire somebody? No. You know, they call in the 4 corners with 4 witches. You know that they have powerful rituals in circles. We're more powerful together. And I'm not just talking about like rituals like witchcraft and things like that, but in general, women are more powerful together. We're meant to be together. And so when you're tapping into your soul's codes, you're going to start to see the breadcrumbs. There are going to be specific things that likely people have told you that you do. Or they're like, wow, XYZ about you. This is pretty true as an empath. Wow, I feel so much better when I'm with you. However, there's something specific, like one of my clients who went through the Rising Phoenix, she had said that she started doing this thing where she didn't always have the energy to do healing, and like people in her world would ask her to do Reiki or her specific healing modality, and she would be like, sure. And what she would do is she would just go sit by them. She wouldn't do any of like the actual healing work on this. She'd just sit next to them, and they're like, I don't know, 20 minutes later, they're like, wow, thank you, I feel so much better. And she's like, you're welcome for my existence. And I'm like, that is so awesome. Actually, you're just being. Your soul is just like oozing out healing, so much so that your existence is healing. And that is fucking cool. And so what is that for you? And you might know, you might not know right away. You might know, but you might not know what it is right away that's unique to you. So I talked about this in yesterday's live. I'll repeat just a little bit, but you'll want to go back and listen to that one too, because this is, for me, this looks like a neutralizer and an activator. Now, I'm not the only one on this planet that has that gift. However, they're very unique to everyone. So for me, what I know is that by someone being in my energy, two things. One, I naturally activate their spiritual gifts and abilities. When somebody had told me I'm an activator, I was like, what? And then I started to think back at even like back when I was doing like spiritual life coaching, but even before then, like I would support people through various stages of entrepreneurship, and all the things that I've done like feels like many lifetimes to go, but it wasn't this lifetime. But then these people would like rise and they would fucking kill it, and then they would like go on. They were like, oh my gosh, I have so much clarity around what it is I want to do because the work we've done together. I'm gonna go soar this way. And I'm like, spread your wings and fly. And I didn't realize what was happening, but this started happening so often across the board. And I was like, okay, I see it. Their gifts are naturally turned on and activated and amplified. And then neutralizer too. But so yes, of course, like we use NLP and RRT, we take a very grounded spiritual approach because you're a high vibrating soul having a human experience. You cannot bypass the subconscious mind. So we take our spiritual gifts and tools, the energy healing. So in this world, we use quantum illumination, Reiki specifically, which is channeled by me. And then we use energetics mastery and subconscious reprogramming. So when you combine these together, this creates transformations that are quick, they're lasting, and they're like your nervous system dipped in aloe. It's like gentle on the nervous system instead of buckle up bitches, like let's go on I think yesterday I said, buckle up bitches, let's go on this crazy roller coaster that's wooden and you're just tossed around everywhere, and you get off and you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Like you've been on a wooden roller coaster, right? We just went on one when we went to SeaWorld in March, and I love them. They are so much fun, but man, they hurt. Okay, so I started being told that I'm a neutralizer, and I was like, I started to think back on it. I'm like, yeah, where it's like the energy of which my soul has naturally neutralizes fears when we're doing coaching. So yes, now I have RRT perspective that I integrate into it. So I have the subconscious reprogramming, but we're energetically doing that as well. So I have various clients that will have abilities like Christiane, who has like her own healing modality as well. She hasn't put a name on it, but she's got like specific things that she calls in as far as like energy and colors and things like that. She's the one that like just by sitting next to people, she's healing people. I have clients that are insane, amazing at drawing people into meditations and taking them off of this planet Like when I say I have never experienced a meditation like that before, I've never experienced a meditation like that before. I'm like, what did you just do to me? That was insane. I feel like I slept a full 8 hours. I don't even know what happened. It took quite a lot of time to like not come back to planet Earth, but like the healing that, let me say that differently. The healing that occurred over the days following was so powerful. I was like, I don't know how you just did that, but that was really cool. And so really just stop to think about what it is that your innate gifts are, and then what is it that people are telling you that it is that you do? And then start to tap into this more. And I'll share with you what you can do to tap into this. And I also want to talk about like going from this like all ties together with like going beyond the matrix and the 5D work as well. So hang in there because I want to share those with you. And yes, Selena, yes, it was that one. It's crazy. Like the amount of abilities that people have, that your soul has, and you don't even realize it, is mind-blowing, literally mind-blowing. It's so cool. And when you start to tap into that creates even more of that magnetism. And again, go back and listen to the other magnetism videos in the series or podcasts in the series, because it's going to create a ripple effect for you to be able to stand in your magnetism, this feminine flow, to be able to call in more of your desires, to be able to call in more of your innate soul's gifts and activating them and amplifying them. And so when we talk about how to pull it out of you, this is really the work. And actually, I have down that I was going to talk about that next, but I don't think I want to. So tapping into your cycle magic. So one, I have a cycle magic experience masterclass, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's called Cycle Magic, that is starting on September 10th. I didn't even talk about it fully on social media, and people were finding it on my website. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we're decided this is like happening. Because I wasn't 100% sure on the date yet, but it's solidified now. So it's on September 10th. It was so funny. Link is in my bio, or you can just DM me Cycle and I'll send you over the information. We're going to spend 4 days and going into each of the 4 phases of your cycle and how to use them to, one, be magnetic in your desires, but also two, to be able to know what your superpower is each phase of the week. Yes, even during your luteal, aka PMS week, and yes, even while you are menstruating. Yes, you are magnetic AF. There is a specific week of the month of that cycle that you are incredibly magnetic. That is not often talked about, and every single week has a very specific superpower based on what it is that's going on in your brain, because our brains as women change throughout the month. And I'm not going to get into like the science side of all of that. I'm really going to tap into what it is that your natural gifts and superpowers are of each phase of the week, so you know how to enhance that magic of that week and intentionally focus on. Not that you can't do other things, because I definitely do other things like throughout my cycle as well that are not always super aligned with that I'm teaching, but it's always super aligned with me. But the more that you tap into your magic and your cycle as a woman, the more magnetic you'll be, the more energy you'll have, the more clarity you'll have around your business, and you'll be able to take more intuitive aligned action, because you will know where it is in your cycle to tap into that creativity and intuition even deeper. You're intuitive as fuck every single day of the month. I don't give a shit what everybody says. Every single day you are. There are very specific times during the month that you are even more so. So link is in the bio. It's $8.88. You can join us. And we're going to do it inside of Telegram. I freaking love Telegram. It's so much fun. So we're going to do it inside of Telegram. Okay, so go check that out. When you are tapping in, and so again, when you're tapping into the magnetism of your, or when you're tapping into your cycle magic, this makes you magnetic as well. Like, this makes you aware of what it is that had been going on recently. This makes you even more aware of your triggers. I mean, we love diving into the triggers, don't we? It makes you super aware of the different patterns that are coming up in your life. That way you can actually get to the root of them. That way you can be like, oh, I'm actually not going that way, I'm going this way. And when you start doing this kind of work, and I don't know why I've never really dove into this a whole lot, because like Manny Jen vibes over here. I just want to talk about everything. But this work made me less triggered during PMS week. It made me have less cramps. My period is shorter. It's not as intense because I'm paying attention and I'm living my life in alignment with my cycle. And of course, like, look, when we moved from South Dakota to Texas, my first like 3 days of my cycle, we were deep fucking cleaning in the house in South Dakota, and I hated it. I was like, I feel like I'm going to die. I don't have the energy for this. But I knew there was just no choice. I had to do it. And so I did. And Matt did take a lot of like the extra stuff and like forced me. He's like, I know we've got a lot to do. You also need to rest, so go rest. And so I love that about him. And man, when I crashed hard at night, I crashed hard. So, okay, so enough about that. I want to do deep dive into that, into cycle magic. So that's like, oh yeah, I want more alignment in my life, and I want to live like more of a life that's synced with my natural cycle. Go check out Cycle Magic. Get signed up for that. Okay, so we're going to talk about Beyond the Matrix and the 5D work. There's a lot of information out there, and I will say this almost every time. Like, anytime we talk about something, I'm like, this is coming from a space of embodiment. And also, just know, like, when you start to dive into this kind of stuff and get curious about this stuff, and you start to go down a rabbit hole, because I know I have before, and then as I was like thinking about this topic and what it was that I wanted to share, I was like, I wonder what other people have to say about tapping into the 5D. And so I went down a rabbit hole, and what AI had to say was actually very interesting. And also I was like bebopping around online, just kind of seeing what other people were saying. And it was interesting. Like, it's not all the same. Everybody has a different experience. But there's like some definite similarities, like for the 3D that we know for sure. And then it's like, you know, you're teetering between the 3D and the 5D with the 4D. Poor 4D never gets talked about. Poor guy or girl or whatever. Poor energy, frequency, never gets talked about, just forgotten about. But there is a 4D in between the 3D and the 5D. And sometimes, like, especially as we are like growing, shifting, evolving, changing, and ascending, going into your ascension, you're like done with the awakening. We've been there, we've done that. You've probably already had a dark night of the soul. You probably had many dark nights of the soul. You've definitely had a rising phoenix moment or 2 or 3. Hello, I've been there, done that, and I support my clients through rising phoenix moments all the time. It is one of my fucking passions. I love it so much. And you're ready for that 5D. It's like, okay. And the truth is, as a high vibrating soul having a human experience, for us to stay in 5D, I don't want to instill any like beliefs or anything like that. But that 5D energy is, sometimes we just slip out of it because we're human and you're having a human experience, and it's okay, right? And it's okay. And it's just always like, how can I be like 1% better? How can I do something just 1% different? How can I shift something just 1%? It's not about 100%. It's not about 50%. It's not about all of that. It's just like 1%. The compound effect is a real thing. and time is going to pass anyway. So 1%. So I wanted to share with you some of the things around like the 3D to 5D. I've got my notes pulled up here because otherwise you guys know. You guys know if you've seen me live or whatever, I gotta have my notes, otherwise I'll just bebop everywhere. That's my new saying lately, bebop. I'm just bebopping around online. Bebopping around doing my thing. Okay, so when it comes to 3D, this is like the illusion of fear. This is scarcity, it's the illusion of separation, and they appear as reality. This also looks like things feel like it's not fair, it's hard work. They're the lower frequencies. I talk about this a lot. The lower frequencies, not bad or good, it's neutral, but the lower frequencies, guilt, fear, shame, resentment, anger are the big ones that I talk about. I don't want to, they're like the big 5, I guess, if you want to say it, or they're like the 5 of like the lower frequencies. These are the things that keep you weighed down. And I've said this so many times over and over. I will die on this hill. When you are weighed down by these frequencies, they're going to keep you weighed down. They're going to keep you in the same frequencies and thought patterns and sensations in the body. It's like running on a treadmill and going fucking nowhere. I don't give a shit how much you play in your crown chakra or your third eye or all the higher chakras. I don't give a shit how much you play up there. If you don't take care of the lower frequencies, things just are not going to shift like you are desiring them to. And I know you are here for something radically different because you would not be listening to me if you weren't. And I'm putting this on my podcast too, so you wouldn't be listening to the Untamed Healer podcast if you weren't here for radically different, because most healers are not most. I would say a lot of the spiritual community is not claiming themselves as unfucking tamed. They're just not. But not you. You're radically different. And what will get you where you want to go into playing more in that 5D frequency and more in the, even like, let's entertain the 4D. Like, what if you didn't jump from here to there, but you're like, let me move to 4D frequency. Fucking awesome. Like, let's entertain this too. Like, wouldn't it be cool if? Wouldn't it be fun if? I just like got curious on what this could look like. So this is like the stair step of when you're like going up and down from 3D to 5D. And the more that you clear out these lower frequencies, the higher you'll naturally vibrate. The more you clear out what's anchoring you down, the lighter you'll be. I mean, that's science. If there's like 5 million pounds in a basket for an air balloon, that hot air balloon is not going fucking anywhere. But if you start to take out the weight, and it gets lighter and lighter. 5 million's very dramatic, okay? I don't know how much weight it takes to keep a hot air balloon down. But as you start to take away the weight that's in that basket, little by little, it's going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. And then eventually, that hot air balloon will go up. So I don't know, maybe it's like 500 pounds or something. Let's not say 5 million. And so you start taking out a little bit at a time, and everybody does a little bit of work together. And then it starts rising because it's lighter and it's freer and it's lighter and it's lighter till it just goes up into the air, into this beautiful, magical thing that floats in the sky. No, that's what I got for you. And so that's what happens in body. The more you clear out, the lighter you will be, the freer you will be. Your abilities naturally come online, or they're activated. They become more and more clear. You have more access to your intuition. You are able to manifest so much faster. You can manifest in frantic energy. You can. You can manifest from a state of scarcity and fear. I've done it. And I'm sure you've done it too. But wouldn't it be cool if you manifested from like a neutral state or a joyful state or whatever the fuck state you were in? because they were lighter and you were more clear and free. Wouldn't that be cool? I love that for you. And that's what I'm seeing for you. And so when we talk about going to these higher frequency, it does require a different level of healing. Specific kinds of healings will only take you so far. And this is why I do the grounded spiritual approach, because this happened for me too. I spent many years doing healing work, many years, which I know that you have too. Inner child healing, shadow work, meditations, breath work, you name it. Usui and Karana and like some of the styles of Reiki and like learning of grounding and just all of these like really beautiful healing tools that we have that are supportive. 100% they are supportive. And what I realized when I had my own tower moment in almost 2 years ago, when I had my own huge tower moment that sent me into panic attacks and hyperventilating, unable to breathe, questioning my path, not having any clarity, unsure of what steps to even take because I was, my nervous system was rocked. So my brain was cloudy because I was in fight or flight, flight, freeze. I needed other people around me to help me make decisions because I just couldn't. I was in that big of a state. And I was definitely on the brink of depression. I was crying all the time. And when I had that subconscious reprogramming session, I was like, the fuck did you just do? What? I couldn't even access the anger. I still can't to this day. I'm like, well, that wasn't cool. And that group of people definitely was doing some shady ass shit, but I'm okay. I know it couldn't have happened any other way. I truly believe that. And I know that it isn't happening because it doesn't exist. I know, like, I can't even access the anger. I stopped feeling anxious and I was like, what is this? And so I got trained in it. And then I started integrating into my business with my clients and everything that I do because it was such a game changer. And so where you're going requires radically different. And I knew that for me too, because I was like, okay, I just had to burn the 6-figure piece of my business to the fucking ground in the blink of an eye. I had zero preparation. I went from 6-figure healing business to burning it to the ground. And with under a month, tons and tons of extra debt. And then I did the clearing around it just because of the decisions that we had made were for the alignment of my morals, ethics, and values. That was more important to me than continuing to do what I was doing. I was like, I can't stay in this. I can see clearly. Like I can't unsee or unknow what I see and know. I've got to walk away. And I've got to trust that it's okay, it's going to be okay, and that the wisdom that I'm taking from this will take me there. And even though I knew that in that moment, it didn't make it any easier. And yet I still made that decision. And during this, I only did what I had to do one day at a time, sometimes one moment at a time before I was like having another panic attack or bawling on the shower, like at the bathroom floor or like freaking out. And I started hiring like emotion code and Akashic records and psychics and alchemy healers and all kinds of energy healers and mindset coach. And I was like, and I was doing my own work, like the things that I know to do to regulate my own nervous system and to heal. And I was like, this isn't getting me to where I want to go. How do I collapse time on this? Not because I was frantically trying to just feel better, but because I was like, there's got to be another way. Have you ever had those moments where it's like, enough is enough, there's got to be another way? That was me in that moment. And clearing those gave me more access to my clarity, power, intuition, and creativity. And from the last time that I had a one-on-one session, I had 4, but the first one cleared more than I could have even imagined. And then through the duration of the next few months, I was like, okay, the rest of my Reiki style came flying through. I had spent a year and a half kind of just like working with what I had, wondering when it would come through, and just kind of like in the lean back energy. But it was as soon as I cleared all of those, as soon as I walked away from what wasn't in alignment, and I started to do the deep clearing of the fear, guilt, shame, resentment, anger, that's when the anchor was cut and I started to fly. And so when I did this, again, my Reiki style came through, and in under a year, I've literally created my entire offer suite that literally lights my soul on fire. Like the rest of my business came through. And I had programs before, but it was no longer in alignment with who I was. Because you guys some of you OGs might remember Launch Your Healing Business Academy. You might remember Expansion. I used to do like social media audits, and I used to help really on the business side. And that's something I can still do, but it wasn't in alignment with my next level. And I don't want to spill too much. You'll just have to wait and see, okay? But what I'm doing now is, when I think back to like 3 years ago, was it 3.5 years or so ago, what I have now is exactly what I wanted to do. Like, it's exactly what I wanted to do. I had no idea it would be in this like capacity of like the exact programs or anything, but what the transformations that I get to do and create for amazing, powerful healers across the world, I'm just like, I get to do this. Like, what? That's insane. And so how can you lean in a little bit more? How can you shift what you're doing for healing and do something different? Because what got you there, or what got you from there to here, is amazing and it's powerful. But more of the same won't get you to your next level. This is a huge conversation I've been having with even my mentor this week on several things I'm working on behind the scenes. And I'm just like, oh, I am stretched. I am fucking uncomfortable. It ended in a full-on meltdown crying session last night. I am human too. I was like, wow. I feel like somebody took silly putty and was like, and I was like, wah! And it's okay. And I was like, I'm going to have this moment. Because one, I know it's on the other side of this. I'm being stretched, and I know I have the tools to lean the fuck in. Yes, my mentor, she's amazing. And I love being that for my coaches too. And also the programs. I did my own program yesterday. I did Alchemize yesterday. People are like, do you listen to your own stuff? Fuck yes, I do. It's good. That shit is awesome. I went to another program that I had that does subconscious reprogramming. I was like, this isn't what I'm looking for. And then I was like, okay, let me go to Alchemize, which is my own program, which is subconscious reprogramming with quantum illumination Reiki integrated into it. So you benefit from the Reiki every time you listen as well. And I was like, yeah, this is the one I need to listen to. And I felt so much better after I listened to that. And I still cried later on, but I felt lighter and less stressed. And as soon as I got done with that, I was like, wow, I have so much clarity and creativity now. I'm ready to rock. And I was like, wow, where are you resourced? And if you're not resourced, get resourced. It's 2024. It is 2024. We live in a world where you can access the entire world on a little square that's a computer in your hands. That's cool. That's really cool. So You are resourced. And who can you ask to be resourced to get you to that next level that you're desiring to get to? So the getting from that 3D to that 5D, the more you step into you, the soul essence of who you are, the more turned on and activated you are in your power, the more magnetic you are. You're naturally magnetic. Because if we're wearing the masks and we're weighed down by the fear, and I'm not saying that you can't like live your life outside of, like, inside of those zones, because you absolutely can, and you can act, and I don't love the idea of like new level, new devil, and I don't believe that the universe is testing you, God, source, universe. That's not actually happening. What I believe is that, and you can try on this and see if this resonates with you, but what I feel is that, like, when you are up leveling, when you are not just breaking the glass ceiling, but you're raising the floor in which you're standing and you're deciding, I'm no longer available for this, and this is what I want. You're raising the floor, you're breaking the ceiling. Sometimes your nervous system just needs a moment to calibrate. And yes, you can decide, I'm calibrated to that energy right now. You don't need a bunch of time to pass. You don't need a bunch of time to heal. That's why I love the grounded spiritual approach, because it is quick and it is lasting. And when you raise that glass floor, or when you raise that floor, sometimes, like, for instance, for me last night, where I was like crying because I was like so uncomfortable with the stretch that I was going through, sometimes it's just the next layer, and that's okay. And even when you clear something at a subconscious level, it's just the next layer. It means nothing. Nobody's testing you. Nobody's out to get you. It's not a new devil. It's like, it's just the next layer. And that's it. I mean, if you think about it, how many lifetimes has your soul lived? Like, how many? How old is your soul? I don't even know. Like, how old are some of the belief systems that you have? And how deep do they go? I don't know. But what I do know is that there's a next level, and there's an opportunity to peel back. There's an opportunity to neutralize and clear so that you can continue to expand into the soul essence of which you are here to do. Selena says, you're definitely a neutralizer and amplifier. Listening to you turns my worries and fears into confidence and almost excitement. And yet I feel so chill and grounded. Yes! I love this so much. Thank you. Oh, so good. So good. So this healing, because what will get you to where you're going isn't more of the same. I said this in my stories today. What will get you to where you're going isn't more of the same, because more of the same is the rear view mirror energy. It's looking in the rear view mirror, or the side, I'm looking at the side mirror, but the rear view mirror, and it's looking behind you. And all of those things have gotten you to where you want to go. But if you are having the same thought patterns, the same energetic patterns, the same cycles, the same emotions, English, the same emotions, then it requires something different. And that's where you get to discover what that is for you. What is that for you? And you get to make moves based on that. Make moves based on the future you. And also, what natural state is you? Like, what is your natural state? What is your soul essence? Who is that for you? What does she look like? And stepping into that energy and that embodiment. So that's what I got for you today. And the more you step into that essence and that embodiment and who you are, and the more you discover, the more you strip away, the more clarity you have around who you are, the more clarity you have around your soul mission, the more clarity you have on what it is that you're truly here to do, or the things that light you up and set your soul on fire. And following those clues is huge. I've been in this energy a lot today, and I don't want to dive too much into this because it's in yesterday's as well, but the energy of curiosity, and instead of being frustrated, getting curious about the redirections. So yesterday I had a situation happen. Today I had a situation happen. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to cry. I wasn't pissed off, but I was like, really? And what I have been saying, and you guys probably don't know this, what I have been saying is like, Texas, it's like fucking annoying. Like, they have so many different laws and rules around everything, and the way they operate is like you don't get it until you're here, but Texas is very into itself. And I've really noticed I've said that lately, and I'm like, I'm not saying that anymore because I'm here. I'm here and don't have a choice. I mean, there's always a choice, but I'm not leaving my husband. I fucking love my husband. So I get to make the best of it. I will always make the best of the situation. Sometimes there is like I had a moment this summer where it was like, oof, what I wouldn't give to be back in the mountains. And then also I've had a lot of realizations about the way that I have been thinking about the ways that certain things had fallen into place over the summer. Nothing was bad. Nothing was wrong. I just wasn't seeing it. I was seeing it through rose-colored glasses. And so I took those rose-colored glasses off and I stomped on them and I was like, I'm seeing clearly now. And so yesterday I had a situation happen, which go listen to. It was about like my son's appointment and driving around or whatever. But today when I went to downtown, you have to pay for parking pretty much everywhere here. Whatever. So I paid for parking to go in to get my DBA for my new LLC for the state of Texas because I want it for something else. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this, no big deal. And then I will go grab some coffee and go back home and do this live a lot earlier and like whatever. And so I went in and I didn't have to wait very long. Everybody was super nice. I went to go fill it out. She was like, what's the business name? Well, my business name is Kristen Jones LLC. That's my company name. And so she went to go create the DBA as that. And I was like, no, I want it as this. And then there's a whole bunch of confusion. Long story short, I got the runaround from the Secretary of, or whatever it is, like whatever in Texas that deals with all the business stuff. Whatever, I don't even know. But I was like, so would I have to go somewhere else because this paper says I need to go to Austin and that's 2 hours from here and I really don't want to do that. Not for the DBA. That's stupid. I'll go for a concert, but I'm not going for the DBA. And so she gave me the information and I sat outside and I was like on the phone calling to get the information, 44th in queue. And I was like, yeah, fucking right. Hang up. And it made me laugh because the amount of times that I've seen 4-4 or some form of 4s or 8s lately is so funny. And then I was like, okay, let me text my husband. I'm frustrated. And then I was like, okay, deep breath, exhale. And I was like, okay, well, I'm here. I've already paid for parking. I'm good. So I wonder if there's a coffee shop nearby. Lo and fucking behold, it was like barely 2 minutes from where I was. And it's super hot out here. If you've ever been to South Texas, you know. This is heat. Look, we lived in Arizona for 5 years, 5 or 6 years. We lived in Florida. This heat here, it's a different beast. One of my friends here said it's like the South Texas or San Antonio heat is cremation heat level always. And I was like, that is hilarious, actually. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. So I walked over to the coffee shop and I was like, you know what? I don't have my laptop. It's fine, whatever. I'm not going to go live from the coffee shop. It was kind of loud in there. And I was like, I'm going to sit and I'm going to chill. I'm going to drink my coffee and I got some water too so I can stay hydrated so I don't get heat exhaustion again. And then, yes, I had heat exhaustion at the beginning of August. It was awful. Matt thinks I was super close to heat stroke. It took me over a week to recover. It was the craziest thing I've ever experienced. Lesson freaking learned. Anyway, So I also hydrated with some water. And I sat there and I worked a little bit. I replied to some messages, checked out my comments and replied to those. And then I sat there for probably another 45 minutes or so, having a conversation with my mentor and doing some, I was also sitting there doing like some ideation and planning. I saw something really cool, like a cool backdrop that I got some B-roll content for some reels that I can use. That's just like super simple, but it was really cool. And I started to notice the buildings and how like they're super old and they're really cool. And I am not a city girl. I am a nature girl. I love the mountains. And so I'm just like with those people that live in New York and they really love, like they show the like their view of the city and they're like, it's so beautiful. And I'm like, really? I don't think so. Gross. But I appreciate that you appreciate it. So I'm happy for you. But I just like really zoomed out and I was like, okay, I see the buildings. They're really old. They look really cool. I see nature and it looks really beautiful against the buildings and the colors of the flowers and just the vibe of the people. And I was like, okay, I'm good. And so it was just like looking for those, like even in the expansive moments, it's like looking for the glimpses of which that it's like, what are the lessons? You're being detoured. What is the lesson? And the more that you are able to see these and you're able to like shift these, again, with the magnetism, like we overcomplicate the magnetism piece. It's like I have to like protect my energy and I have to be super specific on meditations that I do and I have to like do all the scripting and like blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my God, fuck it all. What feels good for you? What feels good for you? There's a million things that everybody's out there doing. What feels good for you? Keep clearing out those low frequencies. Keep stepping into your mother effing power. Because when we talk about the 5D, this is where you fully are in access of your power, the design of your destiny, your soul essence, this is like what I want to say is like, this is the mother load. Like this is that natural joy, happiness, bliss, like in a natural state of gratitude. And yeah, you're going to dip back and forth out of it. Yes, we get to play in 4D as well. But look, you're having a human experience. So I hope this was helpful for you. Slide into my DMs and definitely let me know what landed the most with you. I love talking with you guys. And also, if you haven't signed up for Cycle Magic yet, you have until September 10th, but I wouldn't wait because spots are limited. Link is in the bio. This is where we're going to dive into the cycle. I'll put this on the podcast too. So I'll put it in the show notes too for you. So we're going to dive into the 4 phases of the cycle. You're welcome. I'm so glad that you were able to hang out. And then what else? I think that's it. We also, yes, I'm so excited for you to join in. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so good. So good. This is something I've been doing literally for years. And I was like, okay, it's time to teach on it. And we dive in even deeper into this in the Activated Healer. This is my one-on-one coaching for healers who, like, you're made for more. Like, you're made for more. You're already working with clients and you're ready to take your business to that next level. Like, you are ready to tap into your cyclical nature and the power of the cyclical nature of being a woman and utilizing it to cultivate your inner magic and your inner knowingness to be able to like fully understand the parts of your cycle so that you can step in even more into your creativity, your power, your intuition, and the next level of your soul gifts. This also is tapping into your soul gifts and naming them and also claiming them and being able to know how to utilize them to better your life, to better your business, which is your clients, which is that raising the frequency of the planet, right? Like, we already know you've done the inner child work, you've done the shadow work. Like, it's now time to take it to the next level. Like, it's like more of the same won't get you where you want to go. And I know that you have a big soul mission. I'm trying to remember what else we talk about. We talk about like a lot of, it's very tailored to you experience, but these are some of the main things that we dive into together. So the other thing is like the harmonization, like, scaling your business isn't the way, the way isn't through the masculine energy, it's through the divine feminine with aligned action. And so it's understanding how to operate from that energy first, from the feminine first, then scaling. This is like, utilizing these is the exact same way that I built my first 6-figure business. It wasn't through hustle. It wasn't through burnout. It wasn't through sleeping less. It wasn't through the quote, I'll sleep when I'm dead, or I'll sleep when I'm dead. No, we get plenty of rest. We have plenty of play. I operate my business fun, flow, ease, and play. I'm not saying that sometimes I'm not, like, I don't experience stress. I mean, I just told you I had a full meltdown last night. Like, I'm having a human experience too, but we operate mostly from fun, flow, ease, and play. And we use anything that surfaces as an opportunity to shift, to grow, to anchor more into who you are as you ascend your life and your healing business, and where it is that you're taking your clients as well to that next level. So if that sounds like you, DM me Activated. We'll have a conversation around it to see if it's a good fit for you. And otherwise, I love you guys. Go sign up for Cycle Magick for sure. Come hang out with us. And I've got some other things coming up as well in the next week too that I'm really excited to share with you, including coming behind the scenes in The Layer, which is our dance party that we're having behind the scenes of Quantum Illumination Reiki, the creation of it. This is a free experience. So if you're on my email list, I'll send it to you first. Otherwise, it'll be in my stories, and I'm not going to shut up about it because we're going to have a full party on the way and on the countdown to receiving this trademark so we can get this out into the world. So I love you guys. Have an amazing freaking weekend, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.